Welcome back to Grief Inspired. Today I want to talk about COVID-19 and death and grief because it's on all of our minds. It's a topic that we can't stop talking about. We need to continue to talk about. And I want to give you some advice. So, first, I want to talk about those who are grieving, who were grieving the loss of someone that they loved prior to this whole epidemic starting. If you're in that category, I want you to know that you're already prepared, right? That you've got this because you were already in the struggle. You were already evaluating your life, evaluating the life that you live. You're already experiencing the pain of loss, right? You've already likely been isolating yourself because that's what we do when we grieve. So you've gotten a head start is the takeaway. You've been preparing for this. So staying home shouldn't be a challenge. I've had some people say, well, I can't even focus on the COVID-19 thing because I'm still so deep in grief and I'm still so consumed with my own loss. And is that okay? And the answer is yes, it's okay. But you've been preparing for this. And you have, because you're watching this, you have the hope that you're going to get through this and that you're going to be okay. Because here's the thing. I'm a scientist. And, they talk all the time about, flattening the curve. We need to flatten the curve, right? This is the reason why they tell you to stay home. Well, here's the thing. The curve is the increasing epidemic. Flattening the curve means having it taper off so that it's not continuing to increase like this, right? And the reality is that in time, when we get to the top of the curve, it's going to come back down. And so I find it interesting because it very much parallels what happens with your grief process. Is your grief starts and you start here and you're numb and it gets bad and it gets bad and it gets bad, and over time you start to feel a little bit better. Now, that's the general trend of grief. Everyone who's been through grief, and you know this, so I don't have to tell you this, but anyone who's been through grief knows that there's a lot of up and down. But overall, the curve is that things go up. You get to a point where you have those days where you think, I'm never going to be able to get through this. I'm never going to be able to make it. And then you start to realize, okay, I am going to make it. I can get through this. And so I want you to have hope that just like you're getting through your grief, we will get through the COVID situation as well. So all of the things that I talk about with grief very much relate to what's happening in the world today. Now, we've all seen the numbers of deaths from the coronavirus. They're showing out on the news all the time. We can't get away from it, even if you're trying not to watch, because it's just overwhelming and creates anxiety. There's so much publicity about it because it's the thing it's what's on our minds right now. And I don't want in any way to undermine what is happening because it is very serious and we need to stay home and we need to isolate. But what we need to do is put it in perspective because there are 2.8 million deaths in the U.S. every year. And from the normal flu, there are, I'm checking my notes so that I don't get it wrong, 55,000 deaths a year. Just from the normal flu. there are 600,000 deaths from cancer. There are even higher rates from heart disease, about 650,000 a year, and this is specific to the U.S. Suicide, almost 50,000 people die every year to suicide. So I have no intention of undermining what's going on with COVID-19, but what I want to say is that people are dying all the time. Death is not new. Grief is not new. And I'm hoping that this epidemic is a wake-up to the world to say, stop living lives that don't jive with who you are. Stop doing what you think you should be doing. And do what's important to you. Do what hits your heart. Do what hits your soul. Because we're all going through grief right now. We're grieving either people who have died prior to COVID, people who you know have died because of COVID, or the people that you're scared might die because of COVID. And it's even making us look at our own pending death to say, am I prepared? If I were to die today, would my family be taken care of? Will I have done all the things that I wanted to do in my life? And if the answer is no to that, my recommendation is to look at that. Do some evaluation. And it's really just grieving. So I have a formula that I use and a framework that I use to talk about grief and how to get through grief. And it's a three-pronged approach. The first is looking at your grief. What are you experiencing right now? What have you been going through? What are you likely to go through? Just really getting a sense of understanding, what is this grief thing? And how does it relate specifically to my world and to my life? And then secondly, the second approach in my framework is looking within. Are you being who you were meant to be? Are you being true to yourself, true to those around you? And are you inherently authentic? And then the third prong to my framework is looking at your life. Do you have the life that you should have? Do you spend time doing things that really bring you joy? Do you have a career that you love? Do you have people in your life who are people who give you energy, not people who drain the energy from you? Because if you have those people, I can speak from experience, you want that out of your life. So I want to encourage you to take the time when we're all home now and divide a sheet of paper into 3 columns. And at the top of the first column, put my grief. And the top of the second column, put me. And in the top of the third column, put my life. And look at each one of those and ask yourself, what does this mean for me? What does this mean for who I am? What does this mean for my life? And during the process, it's an exploration, it's a discovery. Deciding how these things are affecting you, and then taking small incremental steps to move your life and who you are as a person closer to what is the true, authentic self. Meaning, why were you put on this planet? Why are you here for the number of years that you are? And what is it that you want to contribute? That's what grief is. That's why we grieve. That's what grief is designed to do, right? And my t-shirt today is honor the struggle, because it is a struggle, but you need to honor it. The COVID epidemic is a struggle for us all right now. Death and grief is a struggle, but we need to honor that struggle. We need to learn from the struggle. We need to grow through the struggle. And most importantly, we need to take action because of the struggle. What that action is up to you, and it will be individual for each one of us. But the struggle is there. As they say, the struggle is real. Grief in time, if you put in the work, will get better. There's hope for that. The COVID epidemic, we will reach our peak. Things will level out. And things will go down. And as a scientist who has been in the life science industry for 20 plus years, I can 100% say with absolute certainty that there are companies right now who are working on on a vaccine to the virus, and they will find it, and they will create one, and they'll distribute it, and we're all going to be okay. I will also guarantee that there will be another something that happens, because it's the circle of life. So this likely won't be the last tragedy that you personally undergo. It won't be the last struggle that you have. Life, as we go through it, is inherently full of struggles. It's just what you decide to do with that struggle that's important. Please let me know what you think. I really want to hear from you. Please share your comments. If you like the video and you want to share it with somebody else, do that. We're all home. We all need help right now. So stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, and decide what you want to contribute as a result of your own grief. Love you guys. Peace out.